Do you like to whistle?
Why?
What's up, guys? It is me, Floyd AM, and today we are back again with another video on The Expanse. Now, as you know, Season 4 of The Expanse just debuted a week or so ago, and we are really excited to get down and talk the nitty-gritties on what we should do and what we shouldn't do about those rings. So let's do it. Now guys, before we dive in, I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, so forgive me if something comes up and you haven't watched Season 4, but just in case, we'll throw it out there and say spoilers. Alright, so if you haven't watched all of Season 4, then you probably shouldn't be listening to this video, but I will let you know what we're mainly covering here is just the thought process of whether or not we should or should not be going into those rings. So at the end of Season 3, my first thought after seeing the rings was, wow, oh my god, we are going to get Season 4 where there's just so much going on inside these rings. We're going to see so many different locations and so much different stuff is going to be happening. Mind you, I've never read any of the books, so I really don't know where the show is headed or where it could be going from here. I just know what I want from the show. And that's what I'm going to talk about, what I want, because this is my channel. This is my channel, right? It's Floyd AM. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. That being said, I really was excited about going into the rings to see what is on the other side. I understand that Holden was kind of against it to a certain extent because of the things he had saw in his vision from Miller, and he says he saw more than what they actually show us in those glimpses. We did get to see civilizations being destroyed. We weren't 100% sure why or who was doing it or what species were even around or if there was anything left over, but Holden made it pretty clear that everything had been destroyed and there's just planets with proto-molecule on them throughout the galaxy apparently. So that's kind of where we start off in Season 4. It actually jumps 8 months ahead after seeing some people get destroyed outside of the ring for trying to go through without permission, and we end up having a Belter ship and then a few other ships, I believe between Mars and Earth, that are protecting the ring so no one can enter the ring space and have access to the thousands of locations. But there have been a few that have made it through. And one of those ships actually makes it through to a planet called Illis, I believe. And it's here where we start to see what some of the ramifications for going through the ring without knowing for sure what's on the other side. Because they go down, they start to colonize, and then a UN ship shows up, and they're there to try and get these people off of the planet and figure out what dangers are there. So they're an actual exploration crew trying to figure out what's good for us, what's bad, and you just have this back and forth throughout the season. So my question is, at this point, is it right? Should everybody be able to just go through the rings free willingly, or is this something we need to monitor very closely? On one hand, I do feel like they should be able to go through freely. Everybody should be able to go through. There's plenty of planets at this point. I would imagine every single human that's alive on the belt, Mars, and the inner Earth would be able to go through and have their own planet if they wanted to. But then it comes down to, well, how feasible is that? If we have all these people just going through the ring, how are we supposed to provide any assistance to those who go off to a ring without us even knowing? I mean, there were so many rings in the ring space that it was hard to actually pin down, you know, if I go through this ring, it's going to take me here. If I go through this ring, it's going to take me into a black hole. We really don't know what's on the other side of those rings. We don't know what people will be bringing back. We don't know anything about this technology that's being used. All we've seen from it is that it turned an entire asteroid into a missile headed towards Earth. It's changed people into wild, glowing beasts. So we haven't really seen anything positive. The only person seeing positive things from the proto-molecule would be James Holden, and we're not even sure if those things are positive. As you'll see as you go deeper into Season 4, it becomes a little convoluted on what the goal of the protomolecule really is. So that's when I started to question whether or not we should be allowed to go into those rings. There's totally an unlimited amount of resources available on the other side of the rings, and the Belters are looking to just have their share. They've been living out in the belt for generations, mining ice and sending it back to Mars and Earth, and then reaping very little rewards for doing all this hard work, and they're just looking to stake their claim on this new discovery. At this point, the UN is not allowing that to happen. They are shooting ships down, and the sad part is they're having the Belters shoot down Belter ships, which is just a little disheartening. But do the Belters want the UN shooting down all their ships? I don't know which way that's supposed to go. All I know is on the one planet we do get to spend some time on this season, I would have to say no, we should only be sending in like scientists until we run out of them, because sending in regular people, yes, you'll be able to live on this planet, but for how long? I mean, they have the technology to be able to tell whether or not a planet is habitable, it's got the right atmosphere, oxygen, all that stuff. So I don't even have to get into the nitty gritty. They know what they're doing there, even as just regular civilians, it seems. A lot of them know how to run that technology on ships. But we do know that on a lot of these planets, there may be protomolecule. And if that protomolecule is activated, or they get infected, or something happens, and then they come back without knowing it, then what kind of new viruses and pandemics will the human race have to deal with on this side? And if you start looking at things for the true greater good, which is all of humankind, then protecting the belt, Mars, and Earth in that order is exactly what you have to do. The belt, if it gets destroyed, yes, we're out of resources, but we can always go into the rings and try to find other stuff. But it's like, do you want your childhood home where all your ancestors are from, that being Earth? Do you want that to be destroyed even if you're from Mars? Do you really want to lose that place in history and that place in the galaxy that we all call home at some point or another, like our ancestors came from there? Or do you want to do everything that you can to protect this area? And then I had to step back and look at it from the other point of view. A lot of these people who are in the belt or on Earth or were even on Mars, they have no idea what the protomolecule really is. There's very few people on the show who've had an interaction with it and lived to tell about it, or even believe what they saw, or could explain what they saw in just regular old words. It's something you have to see to believe, especially considering all the things the protomolecule has done throughout the 4 seasons of the show. So again, without me knowing anything about the books, I do believe that this is where the show could kind of turn into a political drama if they don't have a good balance there, because the argument over whether or not we should be going into the rings is a strong argument, and I'm still not 100% on one side or the other. I see lots of pros and cons, but I'd love to discuss it down there in the comments with you guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think we should be going through the ring, looking for other planets to colonize? Should we be expanding like humankind has always wanted to do? Or are you in the boat that says, hey, we should send some people through to explore, like on Interstellar, send one person per planet with colonizing possibilities available to them, and then they can report back to us as quickly as possible, let us know what the planet is like. Because if these planets have life on them already, these people could be getting killed by animals we've never even heard of, or diseases that we've just never encountered, because they're on another planet in another universe at this point, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, leave a like, don't forget to subscribe, and if we get this video up to 75 likes, then I will do a tiny little giveaway of some Expanse merch. So let's do it, guys. Until next time, deuces.
I am that guy.